There was a movie, it was about these aliens that were terraforming the planet by releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. All these movies, I believe, are made by insiders. The people that know what's going on, and maybe they like to tell the public, so they put it in a movie and just say it's fiction. And to some degree, but I think mostly it's disinformation. It's trying to put out half-true stories. Now, they were showing these aliens had these underground facilities that were releasing big clouds of carbon dioxide. And what they seem to be doing is allowing mankind to unleash all this carbon dioxide. And the Democrats are screaming about global warming, and then they're going to change the slogan to climate change. Every couple of years, the Democrats are going to change their slogans. And anyway, what it really is a smokescreen. They're not trying to end carbon-based fuels that are creating greenhouse gases and screwing up the atmosphere. It's a smokescreen. Like the carbon tax and cap and drag, it's a scam. And they're not trying to stop pollution. They're not trying to stop carbon emissions. They're trying to make money off of it. And they're trying to manipulate. Jesse Ventura had this series called Conspiracy Theory. And one of them was about cap and trade. And at the end of the video, it says they're not trying to save the planet. They're trying to run it. And that's basically the truth. It's like this one thing I put out videos in the past on my other channels about. We're still using this 160-year-old four-stroke internal combustion engine. And far better technology has been evolved and developed over the years, much better. And yet these have to be used in cars. We can't upgrade it. We can't do anything else. We can't use any other type of engine. Chrysler almost was put out of business because they had this engine called the Chrysler Turbo. They were putting a turbine engine that would run on any type of liquid fuel. And they put them out of business. I mean, well, they almost put them out of business. The CEO was basically kicked out, and they put in this VI Coca to save the day. Ah! Yeah, but it was to get them to scrap the project. The project was completely scrapped. $190 million Chrysler spent on developing this car, this new engine, and it was scrapped. And they had just gotten all the bugs out of it. It was beginning to start running well, and they scrapped it. But that's not even the best engine. There's other better forms of engines that I mentioned. Like in submarines, back in World War II, in diesel submarines, they had two-stroke and one-stroke diesel engines. And I explained how they work. It's interesting, is like shortly after I put out that video, Bill Gates was talking about coming up with such an engine. People tinkering in their garage and come up with superior engines. And I remember when I was a kid in the 70s listening, this guy had come up with this. I don't know if you can find any information on this anymore, but it was in the news back in the late 70s. This guy came up with an engine that got far better gas mileage, and I think it was a better carburetor. Might have been some other modifications. Anyway, General Motors paid him $22 million for the patent, and they locked it in a filing cabinet, and it's never seen the light of day since. I've heard other stories like this where people have experimented with higher, more efficient engines, and if they don't take the bribe, then they lean on them. They bankrupt them. They possibly false charges brought about them, or even been killed. I've heard of people who come up with free technology and other free energy type technology, and if they refuse to be bribed, a lot of times they get killed. They commit suicide or they mysteriously die, a mysterious heart attack or something. And anyway, so obviously it's extremely important to keep this highly polluting, highly carbon wasting engine. Has to be kept going at all costs. We got to keep this going. Like we can't get off these fossil fuels, as they call them. A step in the right direction would be alcohol, but we won't do it. Trump, the anti-environmentalist Trump, actually took down the restrictions keeping farmers plant too much corn, putting a limit how much corn farmers could plant in order to produce alcohol, and he overturned an Obama restriction. Obama supposedly the environmentalist president. Now Biden is putting restrictions back on there. During this energy crisis we're currently going on, there's people saying, let's have more alcohol. Nope, we can't do that. Destroy the country. But we got to keep using gasoline, four-stroke engines. And this technology is not improved. It hasn't been improved in 160 years. They've got a few things on it to make them run better, run more smoothly. What they pollute just about as much now as they did 80 years ago. And on the other hand, like computer technology has exploded. During the 80s and 90s, computer technology, you went from like these 64K processors, 64,000-bit processors, up to billions of bits per second. And so computer technology was allowed to explode. We still have to keep using this highly polluting internal combustion engine. I believe it has to do with deliberate and intentional terraforming. And a lot of people are realizing that there is real problems with the environment. We are having real issues going on. And just to silence them, we'll say, well, we're going to do this cap and trade, and anyone who doesn't get on the cap and trade thing is evil, doesn't believe in the environment, and blah, blah. And that's just a distraction. In the meantime, we're going to keep using these 160-year-old engines. We're going to continue to pump tons of carbon into the atmosphere every day. And other than talk and finger pointing, nothing is changing. We have the technology to get off this stuff, but it's not happening. I was harping on this like 10 years ago. Nothing has changed.